Hi everyone. It has been ages. I'm going to turn the light off right now because I'm kind of in the car. So anyway, you can kind of see the silhouette. So right now it's a Thursday. World Baseball Classic just started. There's been some spring training for a little while. And it's been a minute since I've been on here again. I want to get into some positivity for the season, and since this may be the last baseball season for a little bit with the whole CBA stuff going on next year, start going over some teams that I'm intrigued to watch, new parks I've yet to see a game in that I want to go see. And I think I'll start with the Pirates, but I want to get first into a bit of an explanation as to what's been going on. So there's one thing, and then another thing, and then just general life stuff. The general life stuff it's not too much to talk about, honestly. It's work, it's family, it's the usual day-to-day, and sometimes you are more or less motivated to get in front of the camera and sit here and talk. Obviously, anyone who does this kind of content knows that. And when the motivation isn't quite where it needs to be, and there isn't that extrinsic, is that the word I'm looking for? External, maybe is a better word. I kind of prefer external to. Anyway, intrinsic is within, I'm going to say external is with outside. So anyway, because extrinsic sounds weird. So anyway, we'll say when the external motivation, aka people are counting on you to make videos, you're getting paid to make videos, you work for a company, and hey, you have to make the videos or else you're gonna have an issue. When that's not there, when I have a day job, when I have stuff going on outside of work, yeah, it's gonna be a case of I might not really feel like getting on here. So, I mean, I watch baseball, I watch basketball, college basketball, not the NBA, because that's kind of a garbage product these days. I watch the footy, aka football, aka soccer for the silly Americans, and I watch some hockey because that's still somewhat of a pure sport nowadays. Now that aside, going, I guess chronologically, I haven't talked about this yet. So one of my close friends died a few months ago, and so that was like right around Thanksgiving, and it's one of those things where it's just, you just don't really expect it ever. You don't expect it to happen to someone you know and care about, and if you don't take the time to properly process it and think about what it means for you, then it'll just pop up and you'll have these thoughts and memories and questions all the time, and it just throws you off. So that was already throwing me off. Then I had an incident where I hurt my leg. Actually I have an MRI next week to figure out the severity of it, and I've had constant pain for like basically a month now after the incident. And yeah, I've been on crutches. I didn't work for like a good 2 weeks because of the injury. I've been back for basically 2 weeks. I mean, tomorrow will be a full 2 weeks, but it's been kind of bad. Painful, frustrating. And a baseball related part of this is I was supposed to be going to Miami next weekend. Well, actually, technically Fort Lauderdale, but then the game's in Miami for the semifinal, which if I were to do it again, I certainly would not have paid anywhere near what I paid for this ticket, which is absurd. The rest of the trip is not too bad. The hotel's a little on the expensive side, but I did get a decent deal. I still can cancel that if I end up not going because of my leg. I'm debating the flight because depending on how the MRI goes, I still might try to go, but whatever. So it's just one of those things where I had this plan, this idea, and now due to this stupid injury, which was largely preventable. I mean, it was icy and stuff was going on, and one thing led to another, and then you get this injury, and it could take months, may well take months to recover, and that just, it's just one of those things. So anyway, that's what's been going on. Not that anyone really cares, because I'm just I'm venting at the moment. So anyway, still been working, still been trying to get back into exercising because I didn't do that for like a good, basically 2 weeks out of the 4, because it's been about a month now. And yeah, it's not fun at all. Anyone who's had a serious injury knows about that. It could have been worse, easily could have been avoided, so we'll see what ends up happening with the MRI on the knee, but that's life. At least I'm here, unlike my friend, and plenty of other people. I mean, I see people, young and old, constantly dying. And again, it makes you think about life, and it's like, where exactly does that motivation come from when you start to just question? And this gets into philosophy and just deeper stuff than talking about baseball. And that's kind of what I made this channel about, which I might end up changing it a little bit because sometimes I just get tired of even talking about baseball. It's like, like I said, there's a lot of things I could discuss with baseball, but then there's so much life that's not baseball. I also watch Formula One. I mean, that's starting back up again. So there's just so much going on and so much to do and discuss and care about that isn't related to baseball. And it's not like anything is coming from this on my end like that. So yeah, I mean, it's perfectly reasonable that the videos haven't been coming because there's a lack of motivation. That's pretty common. Anyway, after all that, I'm gonna quickly discuss, I've already discussed the Pirates. I think it was something about how they were wasting Paul Skeens, which, end of the day, that's not, they've done some things this offseason, and for that, I will say it's less of a, I wouldn't say that was quick clickbait. I would say they have wasted them thus far, but they've actually made some moves. So I'm going to talk about Pittsburgh, the city, Pittsburgh, the team, and why I want to go there. And we're at 8 minutes in, so this is a long video, because I've not even touched on Pittsburgh yet. Now, I've been to Pittsburgh a couple times. I had a cousin who went to school over there. I went with my brother once. I think I passed through there with my parents once. And it's fine. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like the most appealing or attractive city. It is a city. It is in Pennsylvania. I like the state of Pennsylvania generally. The stadium itself has a sick backdrop. And as I said, I'm yet to go to a game, so that is one of the places I want to go. And then obviously we have the Paul Skeens factor, who I think I said it in the video, I went to see him in person when they were playing the Rays in Tampa toward the beginning of the year last year. And I wouldn't say it was his best performance, but he was awesome, as he pretty much always is. And they ended up winning the game. So for a team that was 71-91, I want to say, that was one of their wins, and he could have won many more games if he was on a better team. So not that wins are the end all be all, obviously, anymore. But the point being, I discussed a little bit some guys that I thought they could pursue. They did end up getting Brandon Lau. I don't remember if I mentioned him in the video or not, but they got him. They got Jake Mangum. I think that was the same trade, wasn't it? And was it? I forget. There's been so many trades and different moves. Anyway, the point is they got him. They got Mangum. They signed O'Hearn. And that one, I hate to even say it, but between O'Hearn and Ozuna, that's where they kind of lost me when trying to build this offense. Now, was it realistic for them to sign necessarily Bader or Tucker or Bellinger? Probably not. I mean, it's still the Pirates at the end of the day. They don't spend money. But at the same time, the outfield, when you look at how it's projected right now, you have 2 below-average defenders and a Neil Cruz who was a pretty bad hitter this past year. And that's not the best roster construction, I must say. And with Mangum, defensively, absolutely, he's an upgrade on O'Hearn and Reynolds in the outfield. So he would probably go in for one of them if you can help it. But offensively, he's kind of a late bloomer, and he has a lack of power. So that's kind of why I think he's not projected to start, to put it bluntly. And then you still have this whole thing with Gonzalez and Triolo on the left side of the infield, which offensively, that's not ideal in the slightest. So there's that issue. They traded away some pitching, which for a cheap team, like I said, it's not like they were going to sign guys. So they did end up making some deals. Were they part of the Shane Baz thing? Weren't they part of the Were they or were they not? I don't forgot. So I think they made a trade with Tampa. Who made that trade? So I know they got Mangum and I know they got Lau. Was that the same trade? People in the comments, if you remember, let me know on that one. So I've actually forgotten. But I want to say that one of those... Anyway, that's not even the point of this video. That's not even what I'm really trying to talk about. What I'm trying to talk about is how has this lineup progressed to the point where... So let's just say the Cardinals are not going to be good. However, looking at the rest of the division, the Brewers, Cubs, and good Lord. Brewers, Cubs, and Reds. I almost said Rays for some reason. I guess the Rays were on my mind talking about the trades. Those 3 teams all made the playoffs. So even if you say, all right, well, the Cardinals are rebuilding, they're not going to be anywhere near competitive. Sure. And this is, I've discussed this a bit with a number of teams. You're a team that is coming off a 71-91 season. That is a large discrepancy to go from that to winning, let's just say 87, even 85 on the low end, 83 like last year games. Even 83 games is a significant increase for a team that won 71. That's a 12-game difference. That's a 12-win difference. That's huge. And do you think Ryan O'Hearn and Brandon Lau are getting you that? Do you trust O'Neal Cruz to actually hit the ball and not just strike out constantly? Do you trust the pitching staff when Jared Jones is already hurt? It's a lot of question marks, I find. So that's my worry with them, is even in that division where outside of the Cubs, really no one spends money, you still have to pass the Reds, who finished a good, like I said, 12 games ahead of you. And then you still have the Brewers and the Cubs. And the Cubs are basically better at everything except having Paul Skeens. Plus, you still have the teams in the West, aka the Dodgers, plus probably at least one of, even if it's just one, this is enough competition to have the 2 teams the division winner plus 2 others probably in your own division, plus the Dodgers, one of the Braves, Mets, Phillies, and another one of those for the wild card. Plus, as I said, the Diamondbacks, Giants, Padres, at least one of those. That's a huge amount of competition. They all won at least, 7 to 10 more games than you, if not 15. So that's a significant challenge to truly compete. I think they're building. I think having Connor Griffin, Bubba Chandler, Hunter Barco, who else do they have? Got that one hitter whose name is escaping me for some reason right now. I'm not looking at notes or anything. But the point is, they have an opportunity. It's just a matter of, is that roster well constructed? And in some ways, I would say the answer is no. So have they spent money? Yes. Have they improved? Yes. Have they improved enough to make the playoffs? I don't think so. So anyway, that was some updates, some talk about the Pirates. That's about it. If you made it that far, thanks for watching. I know this is kind of brutal, but I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. I'm going to try to do a couple more videos about teams I'm curious about and that I want to see over the next little while, prior to the season starting, or at the beginning of the season. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.